what have we learned for the past 60, 40 years? What have we learned? And what can we implement? Thinking back what Jensen Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, said clearly is the best way to problem solve, is the best way to critical think, is the best way to critique a system, is the best way to understand how best to go. Hey family, welcome back to this space again where we call it Hacker Card, and I'm delighted to welcome you again, and at this time of the week whereby we talk about why did we create and how do we do it, or what did we even create, as regards Africa itself, as regards this space we're located in Africa. It's all about what do we create, how do we create, and why should we even create stuff. So I'm delighted to welcome you back again to this space, and I bet it's going to be awesome for you because it's one of a kind, and when things of one of a kind scenario occurs, then it's cool and great. People tune in with the right motives. So welcome back again. It's going to be a chill time. Take a seat and enjoy. Probably just a day ago or some few days ago, we celebrated International Women's Day. Wonderful thing I'll tell you, whereby you have people across the world, irrespective of whatever kind of biases, races, religion or something, a day specially or selectively chosen to celebrate women of prowess, women that have really to some way contributed to life, or not just in that category. Everybody has contributed to life, but women that have actually contributed to life. Maybe just a nursing mother, she's contributed to life. It might be just somebody cleaning the street, she's contributed to life because she's done something with an undertone of humanity. She's really done something good. So it doesn't matter who or the kid that that person is, but that day was specifically selected for just to celebrate women, in general. In view of that day, this episode was created, just to talk about a woman. I'll be telling a few stories and just trying to dive deep into what she did, and just a few analogies and how we could explore from her point of view in changing Africa. She's from Africa, and it's a wonderful thumbs up to her and to African innovative space. It's a wonderful thumbs up to us. I'm going to just dive deep into her stories and try to bring some cool stuff out. Now, before I continue in my kind of storytelling, I'd love to say something, which is changing lives. So innovate, trying to solve problems doesn't have to start from a point of grandeur, or it doesn't have to start from a grand perspective. It doesn't have to start from someone trying to shoot some space shuttle to space or the moon. It doesn't have to start from someone trying to explore the ocean. It doesn't have to start from there. It can start right at your doorstep, trying to just be the best you can be at the very moment, being the best man or being the best personality you can be, just to change or transform things. It could start from there, as simple, as basic as that may sound. It could start from there, really, that's it. But no, when we consider Wangari Maathai, it's a different story, I'll tell you. Really wonderful woman. And when you consider Africa, some way, geography of it though, to an extent, but I could tell you something that, on the case of deforestation, this really affects Africa in a broader sense than every other nation in the world. It really affects Africa in a broader sense. And Wangari here took it as a burden to spearhead this movement of trying to plant trees, of trying to do everything she could, of trying to engineer a new idea, engineer a new orientation as regards the way we treat our environment. She played a crucial role in this, and I think that awarded her in a way of prize. But come to think of it, in Africa, we've got wonderful places, we've got wonderful things. The question comes to is how or what or why do we even create stuff? Why do we do that? And that's what this episode is predicated on. Why do we create? What do we create? And how do we do it? I may not be able to go through these three questions deeply, but I could just paraphrase one or two. Why did we create? Life here in Africa is we're affected by the level of education and exposure we have. By the level of exposure and education we have. And to expect more from a place like this, to expect the grandest of things to happen in this place, then you should expect a flip of behavior. You should expect a change of behavior. And what's that kind of behavior? We will perceive ourselves. They will perceive innovation. They will perceive the idea of changing things. They will perceive the idea of creating stuff. That must change. That must really change from a very root. There must be a sprinkle of purpose in our pursuit for innovation. There must be a sprinkle of purpose, because once you say you want to do something that's grand enough, once you say you want to engage in an activity that's going to apply in a profound way, in a profound sense, then there's a feedback you get, a sprinkle of purpose on it. That's the feedback you get. The feedback, okay, I'm trying to do something, and this thing I strongly believe somehow, it's really going to affect someone's life across the street. It's really going to contribute to the welfare of somebody across my neighborhood, across the nation, across this continent. It's really going to change something. It's really going to make things better. Trying to innovate. If we flip the cards, if we flip the coin in this regard, as on our notion of innovation, it's really going to help us go far in a more exponential way. And Africa, we can't do less. We've been on this question for the longest time possible. And until the time we understand that, we've got to stay and think our way backwards. What have we learned for the past 60, 40 years? What have we learned? And what can we implement? Thinking backward, Jensen Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, said clearly is the best way to problem solve, is the best way to critical think, is the best way to critique a system, is the best way to understand how best to go. Because one, it aligns your solution, it aligns your end goal to your history. When there's an alignment between your end goal and the history of solving such a problem, then you could create a path and you could begin to reason from first principle. But beyond all this I just said, for Africa to go anywhere further beyond where it is at this moment, we have to flip the card. We have to understand, why do we create? I know sometimes some of us feel as though, this thing is bad, it's terrible to see somebody out there on the street and you can't just help. To see somebody walking around and you can't just give him some words of advice on what to do. It's really painful. It's really, I don't know how to express this, but it's really hard. And until the moment Africa as a continent or a community of people together in any African nation see this as a need of flipping this card of understanding that innovation gives you a reward, gives you a feedback of purpose. When you say you want to embark on a journey, then definitely there's a destination you perceive in your mind of getting to. There's an end goal. When you say you want to travel, there's an end goal. I want to get to, okay, I'm taking out from city A, I want to get to city B. So I book up my flight, I take some few clothes, I take some resources, and I begin a journey. Now, when you having that end goal, okay, this is where I presume or I believe I'm going to get to in the next few hours. That's purpose. That's a definition. That's a clear distinct. That's a distinct understanding. Okay, this is where I'm going to. So there's no delusion or something about that concept. So now when we turn this notion back to Africa, how do we change it? How do we understand? How do we go deeper? How do we flip the cards in a way that it suits what we're driving at? We cannot expect anything more from any African nation or African president or African whoever, leader or something. The best we can do rest upon an individual, rest upon each individual, each person in the network of people in African space. Each person It's laden with responsibility. And to play your cards correctly, we have to take this route. The route of understanding that this is what we need to do to empower anybody around us, to change the story of somebody around us. We have to understand flipping the cards up, knowing why, because it pushes you through the confrontations or something. It pushes you through them, and you can keep on going. So addressing why we start is the best we could do. It's the best we could do. It's the best I'll tell you we could do.